You're listening to Experience Imagination, a themed entertainment design podcast presented by Falcon's Creative Group. Every episode, we discuss a new topic with a panel of creative professionals. Hi, I'm Cecil McPuri, President and Chief Creative Officer of Falcons.
Welcome to another episode of Experience Imagination. I'm your host, Audrey DeLong. Well, here it is again, spooky season. Halloween is one of the biggest retail events of the year. Collectively, Americans spent a cool $10 billion last year on this holiday. You know, there's an insatiable appetite for all things Halloween, all things that are scary and ghoulish and gooey with the candy. I don't want to get off track, though. We want to talk about how we indulge in activities outside of the home, things you can't experience at your own home, right? And interestingly enough, some of the most popular Halloween-themed events started out as a weekend thing. I can't believe that. That was all they did. And now it's like a month and a half. So that's our topic for this episode, bringing a holiday season to life through themed entertainment. We might even talk about more than just Halloween. So coming up, we have some guests with experience doing this very thing for a variety of industries. So we'll cover many different angles. But first, I want to bring in Jason Ambler, our president of digital media. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Audrey.
All right, so let's talk about seasonal overlays. What does that even mean?
Seasonal overlays can happen year-round, and it's an overlay that applies that season to whatever is happening. So it can be springtime, it can be Halloween, certainly. And of course, you know, you have the holidays and Christmas time and bringing in the holiday vibe into a space. Mm-hmm. They know they're going to experience something unique and different every year, which brings them back again and again. And I think for the various operators that do it, I think you're seeing an expansion year over year because they are also accumulating more product and things that they have to store somewhere in a warehouse. But they're essentially kind of building out that seasonal overlay and continuing to add new features. And some things may stay the same, but just by offering some new marketable piece, they know they're going to see a huge spike in visitation. So location-based entertainment venues have caught on, you know, that the limited time type of experience and product is very, very lucrative. It drives people to make that purchase decision right then and there because they know if they don't do it then they're going to miss it and they're going to regret it. So it's a little bit of a psychology at play here, but it's, again, very successful and people cherish those things and can look back on those memories very fondly.
So let's talk about what Falcons has done in this area. What are some of your favorite Falcons projects?
One of my favorite examples, because it just got such an amazing response, was what we did with Dragon's Treasure in Macau at City of Dreams. For a few years, we were doing Chinese New Year celebration video piece that started each show. And we saw just amazing responses from the audience that saw, you know, the year of the rabbit, the year of the tiger. They saw these characters brought to life, and it was also in the spirit of good luck. And because it was a casino, people felt like going to these experiences would somehow make them do better at the slot machine or the tables. So that was a really great experience and something that was incorporated into more of a media-based show.
All right. Well, Jason, thanks for setting up this fun topic for us.
Absolutely. Happy to be here and looking forward to hearing from the other guests.
I'm extremely happy to welcome Diana Prats, Director of Park Operations at Falcons Beyond, and Barbara Smith, Sales Manager at Kathmandu Park, Majorca. Hi, ladies.
Hello. Hello.
Good to have you join us. Thank you for being here. First, tell our listeners about the park in Majorca, Spain. Some people might not be familiar with it, or they haven't been lucky enough to visit the park or the island. So talk about that a little bit. Let's start with Barbara.
Audrey, super great for having us on. A little bit about the island. Majorca is one of the Balearic Islands. For those of you who don't know, there's 3 of them. It's warm, and it makes our island, especially for European people, 2.5-hour journey. So that makes us one of the hottest spots for tourists, and that's what basically our industry is. Our park we're right in the middle of the center. The island is divided to the north, south, and the east, and we're down the south. And we're in a place called Magaluf. It's a fun place to be, and it is also family orientated, and that's where our park is.
Let me just jump in, Babs, if you want. I'll give you a bit of story of Kathmandu. Kathmandu was founded in 2007, 15 years ago, and it was an organic development. We started with the house attraction is one of our signature attractions. Then we expanded with the mini golf, the expedition golf, interactive theatre experiences, splash park, and soft play. And there was nothing similar or like this in Mallorca. So now I could say we're one of the most popular attractions on the island. And for who has not visited Mallorca, I think it's a really fun place and beautiful place to visit. And the best place I can say is Kathmandu Park in Mallorca.
She's not biased or anything, but anyway.
It's not year-round. We open in April and we close right after Halloween. So it's a 7-month operation. But it's a place to visit in winter and summer because we've got outdoor attraction, but we've also got indoor attractions.
Let's talk about the holidays. Since you're not open over the Christmas holiday, and I know we're going to get into Halloween a bit, what other seasons, if you will, does the park celebrate?
What we celebrate big time and has become a big thing now is Easter, Audrey, because before Easter in Spain, I don't know if any of you know, but it's all about processions. It's kind of like heavy style.
Yeah,
so we kind of add a little bit of fun to the park by opening the park. We're always open for Easter, which is very busy time. It's when we start everything in motion. And we do like Easter bunny hunts. We have photo calls with bunnies, and we just make it a little bit fun.
Nice and colourful.
Yeah, and colourful.
Yeah.
And it gets us out there for the beginning of the season, marketing-wise.
Why is it important for theme parks to offer this type of escape? I mean, from the retail perspective, is it something where you can offer different products during that season?
Well, we do, and we're getting better at it, but because we've been celebrating Halloween since the start, and we started more focused for adults from the park site, and we had Night of Frozen Dead, that it was a terror pass. It was really, really cool and creepy inside the house in the basement, and the hotel was more focused on kids. And it's just developed, and after COVID and everything, because we have the capacity restrictions, that in the end, it's worked more as a family focused product for Halloween, no?
I think what it does by making these special dates, it puts us out there in the marketing place. Yeah. When people think of Halloween, even no matter where you are on the island, they connect Kathmandu because of the upside down house, because of the music, because of Borlo, because of the Yeti. And what it's done is you're forgetting that the island is so small and so far away, and it's only in the last 10 years that people realized what Halloween was. So now you'll have parks who are in competition with us and hotels who are gone into the Halloween market because obviously they realize there is money to be made.
All right, so let's talk about how many years the Halloween event has been at Kathmandu Park, Mallorca, and how many days does it last?
Initially, we did celebrate on the 31st, and then slowly we've added more dates, near the event, and then extending since the hotel, of course, the weekends of October, that's helped us a lot, to bring guests in the lower months of the season.
I've just left the hotel just to give you inside info, and I just asked before I came, and we're 92% full, Audrey. Yeah. So that for October the 23rd, or 24th, it's a success.
Yes.
And I think we did last year, we kind of risked it for a biscuit, as they say, and we decided to go for it and do the whole month of Halloween. And it really worked.
It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm wondering, since you already have the upside down house that you spoke about, do you use that? Do you leverage it as a haunted house?
We did a few years ago, and it was really, really cool. It was called Night of Frozen Dead, and we had live actors, and I mean, the decorations were really, really scary. But as I said, in a natural way, we've just developed more into a family-friendly Halloween product in the end.
Yeah, and we'll do a trick or treat, and the client will get our mug. So it's a really cool souvenir. It's also PR and marketing for us. And then a fab cool bag with leather strings, and then also lots of sweets. So it's really good value. And plus there's going to be 8 entertainers in the upside down house doing the treasure hunt, the trick or treat for the sweets. So it was really going to be fun.
an interesting detail this year. We've managed, to revenue management with the prices, because since last year, we had the challenge of the capacity restrictions with COVID. So we thought, wanted to manage better capacities, and because we are more popular, the prices that we charge in this year are higher than ever.
Well, you can justify it because you get the crowds. The hotel books up a little bit more than usual for this time. What do you think it is about Halloween in particular that brings people back again and again, maybe repeat customers?
I would say, that we've created a trend, and that each year, we invest and we develop a quality product, and then also they stay in the hotels, and it's kind of an end of event for everyone that they want to repeat.
A close of the summer for many, especially the residents. They kind of feel before it goes into the winter series that they kind of go, well, we're going to finish off the summer.
Yeah.
And you find families, and actually people who work in hotels, would you believe it? You cannot believe, Audrey, the amount of people have rang me who work in other hotels who are closing the 27, 28. They have booked Kathmandu, because if you work in the hotel industry, it's nice then to go to a hotel. Yeah. And because they know we do Halloween and we know we're open till the beginning of November, they stay around.
Any future events around seasons that you could tell us about?
Because our season is 7 months and Easter is our big one, and then it's due to the heat, or it's so warm that basically we base it around the summer. We did this year, we have lots of July and August. Not everybody is off in July and August, so therefore their children are in summer camps. So this year and last year what we did was we promoted the summer camps, and we give them a good offer. So you could have an avalanche of like 300 7-year-olds all of a sudden in the park, which you can imagine is fun. And this year we dedicated some things to school promotions also, because with COVID, so many places and so many restrictions, as you know, worldwide, that we decided to kind of jump on the bandwagon, and we did a special offer for schools. And so far we have lots of schools booked for next June. So but if big events like that.
We used to do the cosplay event or the steampunk week too. Those were really, really big, that we haven't done these last years because of COVID. But those were really cool events.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up the conversation here. Thank you so much, Diana and Barbara, for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
Pleasure to talk to you, Audrey.
Thank you very much for including us. Okay.
Thank you.
We're joined now by Sadri Alexander, Entertainment Senior Manager for the Americas at Melia Hotels International. Hello, Sadri.
Hello, Audrey. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me today in your program.
Thank you so much. And, the first thing I want to ask you is about your role. So what are you responsible for, and what types of decisions cross your plate every day?
Well, I'm in charge of entertainment and events for all the brands within the portfolio of Melia Hotels International in America. All the programs, budgets, concepts, all the events that we do throughout the entire year. And I have a team working very close to me, and they're the ones who makes it reality in the hotels.
Perfect. And how many hotels are we talking about here?
I will roughly say about 20 hotels have entertainment, more or less.
Okay. And that's spread out over, is it 12 countries?
Yes, more or less 12 countries in between North America, the Caribbean, South America. Yes, more or less 12 countries.
All right, sure. So we're going to switch gears a little bit here and talk about seasonal overlays. What are some of the holidays that Melia celebrates with stylized theming?
We do celebrate most of the American holidays and the local holidays and the Spanish holidays as well, for being a Spanish company. So we do have plenty of holidays. We also celebrate important events like Super Bowl, etc. Then starting from that, we go through February from President's Week until Easter, then Easter to the celebrations of the summer, like the American Heritage, 4th of July, etc. And then we go through until we end up with Christmas, New Year's Eve, and everything that has to do with all these important moments during the year.
Oh, that is a lot. I'm kind of wondering, so since there are so many, it seems like there's ways to appeal to all the demographics, or do you just really focus on kids and families?
Actually, we are expert in kids and family and in adults program as well. I mean, we have programs that combines and where we reconnect families with granny, grandpa, mom, dad, the kids can all enjoy and have a great time all together. Then at the same time, we have purely programs for kids in the kids clubs with different age groups. And we also have, of course, programs and experiences designed for adults so they can find a moment of peace and tranquility. So we touch a bit all the demographic generally.
Oh, that's excellent. You talked a little bit about being spread over the 12 countries and, all the various cultural considerations that you have to think about. I'm kind of wondering, how is Halloween celebrated in Latin America versus like what a United States Melia property would do?
We do celebrate Halloween in a traditional way, trick or treat, parties with families, very like what actually we do in America. But we also combine it with the local culture. For example, in Mexico, we start the Halloween week a few days before Halloween Day in order to create expectation and to have a great decor and ambiance in all the hotels. And then once we go through Halloween in Mexico again, we end up with the Day of the Dead, which is very, very big in the Mexican culture. So we combine both culture and both styles in order to deliver a superb week full of surprises and activities, basically.
What's one of the other like really big time celebrations across all the Melia properties that you're in charge of?
Big moments are definitely Easter and Christmas and New Year's Eve. This is very big in terms of programs, decoration, ambiance, culinary experiences, and all this magical touch that these holidays bring to a vacation.
I'd love to hear about the planning process for those. You talked about culinary and all the decorations. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of people working on those staff specifically just for those seasonal overlays, if you will. But talk to us about the planning process.
Basically, the planning process, of course, entertainment, we do not work on our own. We are a big team. So what we do is we meet several months before the actual date of that particular holiday event. And then we start planning, coordinating all the different events that we will have during the entire week or the fortnight, culinary moments, experiences overall, the guest experience team, a little details, performances, wow moments that we love in all the brands, creating wow moments. It could be a simple dance or singing moment in the middle of a restaurant, like it could be a little detail from the F&B department. It's a lot of people involved, and we all bring a little bit of magic to create something unforgettable.
Yeah, I'm sure guests appreciate that, and they're almost anticipating it these days when they go to anything, resort, theme park, even a grocery store. They're almost anticipating being treated in a different way around these holidays and being given opportunities to celebrate it in a different way. So I'm kind of wondering what the staff does to please guests during those extra special holidays.
There's no secret. What we do it with passion and love. I know it sounds a bit easy to say, but it's very important because today, as you said, people come not only to enjoy a stay and a swimming pool, a beach, and fantastic weather. They expect from us to live an experience unforgettable and to bring something back with them. So knowing this responsibility, we all take it very seriously in planning and creating moments. It's very important to create a bond, respecting their time, their privacy, but creating a kind of bond where we're sure that we know that we're doing the correct job in order to guarantee perfect delivery.
Excellent. All right, Sadri, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for all of that information, and thanks for being here.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, and you're always welcome to come and live these experiences, okay?
Yeah, count me in. Okay, let's welcome Nico Nicolaou, Senior Director of Special Events and Creative at Gaylord Hotels. Hi, Nico.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm great. And Gary Wachanski, the owner, president, and principal designer at Hotop Associates. Hi, Gary.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Nico, so tell us about your role with Gaylord and how you are involved in planning for special seasons.
I get the pleasure of being in charge of our special events division at Gaylord Hotels. and overseeing the 5 properties create and execute our year-round leisure programming. So from our spring season to Spring It On to our Summer of More, Goblins and Giggles in the fall, and then to our signature Christmas at Gaylord Hotels, we really try to focus on delivering a unique and customized experience for our guests that are staying at our properties.
So do all the hotels kind of do the same thing for the seasons?
Each one of the markets is a little different. So I would say most of our experiences are very similar, but there is some uniqueness in each one of the markets based on the locality.
Okay, gotcha. Let's swing it over to Gary now. I'd love to hear about Hotop's connection with Gaylord Hotels.
We have been involved with Gaylord specifically through the ICE project now for 22 years. So ICE began in, I think, 2000, and I got hired at Hotop in 2002. So we have been the designer, and we're involved in the production in a variety of ways. The scope has really kind of changed and evolved over the years, but we've kind of been one of the key stakeholders in creating ICE since the beginning.
What did that first ICE show look like?
Well, the first couple of years, it was all kind of Christmas stuff. It wasn't, now we do, it's all IP based. We started that in 2007 with the Grinch, and that really added a whole layer of storytelling to the attraction that it evolved. But when it started, it was really, it really was putting on a show in a barn. It was very mom and pop. So it was just a lot of Christmas kind of tropes. So the North Pole and a candy house and, a winter wonderland forest with animals in it. And every Christmas trope you ever heard of, we did it in ICE for those first 6 years. And then it started being full immersive stories, all wrapped around classic Christmas content in 2007.
Tell us about the timeline. How many months is Hotop working on ICE?
So a new show typically is selected by the end of the year. So November, December, we know what it's going to be. And really January or February, we will start the design process and drive all the way until the show opens. I think as the shows rotate for us, that usually starts later, March or April. We start adapting because the venues aren't all the same. So it is 9 months to a year every year. And now, we're doing 5 of them at once. So it's kind of always ICE season in our office in some corner of the space.
It is a big deal. Nico, let me get your take on just the massive nature of this. I'm kind of curious, how much ice is used? How cold is it inside? What are some of the things that people can do? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Ice is our main attraction. It is 2 million pounds of hand-carved ice from the artisans from Harbin, China. They trek all the way over here to share this generational artistry and talent with us. And the attractions are roughly between 15,000 and 17,000 square feet. It's anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 blocks of ice that are shipped to each location from different ice plants around the country. You got clear ice, white ice, colored ice, and then they really work in that environment for about 30 to 35 days in just straight carving to put together this amazing attraction and, retell these incredible stories. The attractions are 9 degrees. I mean, especially at the Gaylord Palms in Central Florida, I always say it's an engineering marvel to get that space that cold when it's 110 degrees outside with the humidity at times. But we work with a great group of partners. Those partners like Gary from Hotop and several of the other ones really focus on delivering this, great attraction to our guests across the country.
So I'm just going to repeat this. You said 2 million pounds of ice?
2 million pounds of ice. It's a lot of ice.
So what happens to that ice after the show?
That is the most popular question I think we get asked. We have benefits of the natural environments that they obviously pull the ice out of the structure, and Florida just melts. There's not much more to say outside of that. And then we focus on making sure it's all done in a safe way and a clean way, and then we move on to the next year.
So outside of the ice show, and you mentioned the holidays and doing things special for Christmas, what can the general public experience at any Gaylord hotel during that season?
We have some of the most incredible light shows in each one of our atriums. So our atriums are anywhere up to 4 acres, and in the center of them we have these amazing light curtains that really tell an incredible show for 8 to 10 minutes. and it could be about Christmas, at high energy music. It has moments of, just awe-inspiring light displays that kind of connect. But we also have ice skating, snow tubing, bumper car ice skating. Gaylord produces their own signature Spirit of Christmas Cirque show. So we really have multiple options at each one of the properties where you can come and really spend your weekend doing several different activities.
Fantastic. Gary, do you have any favorite memories, or what's your just favorite thing about working on ice every year?
I think the thing that I really always come back to with thinking about the whole experience is the relationship with the carvers, because you, as an art director, you're working with these, 35 guys who you can't talk to. And we work through a translator, but it's super inefficient. You're talking about sculpture and, these kind of abstract things, and you're trying to work through extremely technical challenges with the construction process, all without, with this communication barrier. And I always found that there were always certain carvers where you would kind of develop this third language, and I would always seek out certain carvers and builders who I knew could understand what I was trying to say, and just by kind of talking in my my 6 words of Chinese, and the bond I kind of created with those guys is really stays with me. And now as a leader, and I go back and I visit, I run into carvers that I worked with 15 years ago, and we have it's very emotional, we're really connected to each other. And I think that kind of care and attention that going into the construction is what translates and makes it special at the end for the audience.
That's really well said. We have that experience at Falcons all the time, too. All right, guys. Well, I think that wraps up the conversation here. If you're listening and you haven't been to ICE yet, definitely buy a ticket. You have to see it. Thank you so much, Gary and Nico, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Great stuff from all of our guests today. Diana Prats, Barbara Smith, Sadri Alexander, Nico Nicolau, and Gary Wachanski. And thanks again to Jason Ambler for his contributions to the discussion. Thank you all so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Please join us again next time for another episode of Experience Imagination.
Thank you for listening to Experience Imagination, a Falcons Creative Group production. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and share with your friends. To keep up with our latest news, visit us on the web at falconscreativegroup.com and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for future episodes, please email us at podcast@falconscreativegroup.com.